Nearly 12 months ago, I made some very bold predictions for that time. 12 months ago, we were going through inflation fears. Interest rates had just started to rise at the fastest rates in history. Most were extremely fearful of a further collapse in the markets. But of course, at the time, I decided to make things measurable, as that's what we like to do if we're going to improve on our own trading, investing, or anything we're doing in life. So to make it measurable, I posted something super bold. At the time, they were very unpopular opinions. The S&P is bottoming, not crashing. The NASDAQ, the same thing, was bottoming, not crashing. I also said, because at the time, this was a big thing, Europe will not freeze this winter. There was a huge fear about Europe freezing because they just could not afford gas, because gas was going through the roof, and that the freeze would then cause a recession. These are all sorts of weird stories that the media makes up, and unfortunately, the masses take on board and use this and basically make their investment decisions on it. The next thing, I said real estate is not going to crash in 2023. And so far, we have seen the exact opposite. Prices have been up. Australia and many cities are hitting new all-time highs. And in the US, there are also a lot of stories of new all-time highs, which I've gone through in a bit of the data. And I'm going to continue to look at this as well. The next thing, second half of 2022 and the first half of 2023 are buying opportunities. Well, we can look back on that now and say, well, they pretty much were. Bitcoin was bottoming. Remember, this was the 22nd. Bitcoin had just crashed to its fresh cycle low about 3 to 4 weeks earlier at $15,500. Most cryptos are terrible dollar cost average investments. And again, 12 months on, we can see that. If we measure back from that point, a lot of them had been down. So why am I showing you this? Well, I want to throw my neck on the line again and make some more bold predictions. This is what I love to do because it puts my own analysis to the test. It doesn't mean I'm always going to get them right, but the main thing I want to look at here is how can I invest my money based on these predictions? Things like, will interest rates go up or down? Are we going to see a recession? Is Europe going to freeze in the case of last year? For me, this sort of stuff is completely useless because I can't use it to invest with. My point that I'm trying to make is I want to use my money, which is what I do full time, to make more money with it. I don't need to be an analyst in the headlines saying Europe's going to freeze, it's going to cause a recession, and recession is going to make the markets collapse. It's trying to string too many things together. So let's have some fun today and put some of these predictions to the test. You can still find this tweet on my Twitter accounts, absolutely public, but we go into more detail with this stuff in TIA Premium so that we can then base it on our investment plans, come to a decision from our analysis so that we can action it and not just sit here and talk about things that may or may not happen. We need to take action, like the Black Friday sales. That is going to end very soon. If you guys are interested, link is in the top of the video description. Black Friday sale. Subscribe to that and you will receive an email with the discount code coming up very, very soon. There's also the TIA Indicators special. There is a 7-day free trial now. So you could get the TIA Premium membership at a huge discount and also get a 7 free-day trial for TIA Gann Swing Indicators. Plus, there is a lifetime access to our other indicator suites with this membership here as well. But more on that later. Let's dive into assessing some of the predictions, some of the bold stuff that I'm looking at now moving forward for 2024. In this video, I want to focus specifically on Bitcoin and cryptos, but more importantly, Bitcoin and Ethereum. This is just looking back at the S&P 500 because I've used this type of analysis to help me with my analysis for Bitcoin and Ethereum as well. Now, if we've got these ideas in mind, if saying that Bitcoin is not going to break particular price targets or low prices, then we can assess our risk to the downside so that we can forecast a little bit of a reward here, what we would be happy with for a reward. And that's essentially how and why I would use these things. Now, the other thing I strongly use is that TIA Gann Swing Indicator. You can see it up here, Gann Swing Indicator. Sure, it's a shield for a product that we produce based on specific rules from Gann. WD again, missed again from over 120 years ago. That's why these rules and these signals still work now. Of course, you didn't have computers in that day, and we've had to reproduce this swing indicator. It is extremely powerful, and once you get the hang of it, you'll understand why. Now, that swing indicator tells me on different time frames here where these extreme lows are in the market. That, on top of many other things like the Wyckoff analysis, looking at volume and bar patterns, that also helps. But the swing indicator is a really good measure of significant lows and significant tops so that I can then forecast, well, I don't think these lows are going to be broken based on what we have just seen in the market. And you know, I've gone over this many times when it comes to the market sentiment as well. So for the S&P 500, this is where I did the tweet, which was back in December. You can see that on the post here, 22nd December. Again, these were extreme times. The market had been coming down for 10 months. And you might remember, people do not flip straight away. We still have people now thinking this market is going to collapse. And that's absolutely okay. Maybe you're on that side of the fence. I don't want to get you too offside here. I just want people to win. And you can see from that time, tweet prediction, we're not going to break down from these lows here. The bear low won't be broken now. The March low here, this won't be broken either in this cycle, so the cycle that we're currently in. So I've talked about many, many reasons why, but one most importantly is that market sentiment at the time and how the market reacted from that point, despite the banking crisis, the collapses, the higher low here, which was a US debt ceiling crisis. So when you can start to piece all this together, it really allows you to put together a more safe, quote unquote, prediction moving forward so that you can assess your risk to the downside and not basically just be guessing at absolutely everything. So we had the October low come in here, test a nice 50% level as well. That's another Gann rule there. And then a higher close. That's why I'm saying now probably won't be broken. I don't think it will be broken, but just to be safe out there, we're just going to say probably won't be broken at this stage. Very strong move to the upside now with about a week to go for until we get the monthly close here for the S&P 500. So that's basically what has happened over the last 13 months since the October low, then 11 months since we had the tweet prediction from there. So I'm going to put together another tweet prediction. I'll throw that up on Twitter or X. So make sure you follow that. Links are in the description as per usual. The NASDAQ, another one here. You can see from the similar sort of pattern that we had the bear market low in October. The tweet was much, much closer to this low here. So it's pretty hard to say market is bottoming at the lows because remember, you don't see this half of the market. All you see is a market that's been going down, 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 down. And the swing indicator here has shown us that the market was starting to slow. Look at the moves to the downside. There is you can see just from naked eye, there is a much smaller gap from each significant swing low to the next swing low, which tells us that the momentum is slowing and we're starting to get a rollover here to the upside. And once you start to get a break of a monthly swing top, which is why I'm stressing the importance of the swing indicator, use it, don't use it, your call. I don't want it to put you out because I want you to win in these markets and make money. But essentially, when you start to see this thing break to the upside, higher lows, and then the move to the upside become more extended than the other moves, that tells you that the buyers have been buying. They are supporting the market at these prices, and any of the analysts and the media and YouTubers and anyone and everyone that's saying the market had to collapse at that point are most likely going to be very, very wrong, and they're going to be more importantly, they're going to be late into the market as well, which is what causes these next big moves to the upside because everyone starts to figure out that they were late and they lost a lot of time here. 10, 11, 12 months in this accumulation period. Market bursts out, gives you an extra opportunity here. The bears were extremely loud, and then the market pushed on again, and we've just put in a new fresh high for the year as well for the NASDAQ. So there's your tweet prediction. Won't be broken this particular price here at 11,800. Because you've been following or hopefully been following the channel, you'll know that this is, I think, is a pretty safe call now, but at the time was not a safe call. When I was talking about this in March and in April and June, it was not a safe call to say that the market will not go back below the March lows. It was very, very close in price there. But now you can say, well, that's pretty safe. So I'm thinking the market won't go under 14,000 points for the NASDAQ. And just to make it a little bit more cautious, it's a probably at this stage. Okay, so that's the NASDAQ as well. That helps us line up for the real estate cycle as well. We've seen some high lows here. The tweet prediction was right at this point here in December. So market has basically pushed on from there. And it looks like we're going to get some fresh highs coming very, very soon. That's important because that's part of the real estate cycle, which carries the entire financial system. Never forget that. So where does that leave us for Bitcoin and for Ethereum? So we've got some monthly swing tops here. What do I think is going to happen from this point for Bitcoin? Well, in terms of a timing here, let's just look at the timing and then we'll look at some prices, which I don't think will ever be broken. Have some guesses in the comment section down below. I'll leave a pinned tweet. Which prices do you think, I'm going to say, are not going to be broken for BTC? And obviously I'll answer that throughout the video. If you disagree with me, let me know which price you think won't be broken. But if you also think that Bitcoin is going to break 15K, by all means, let us know in the comment section down below. That's an easy one, I'll tell you that now. 15K, very, very unlikely to be broken for Bitcoin in this cycle. But I want to add a little more value to that. I want to talk about timeframes. Where can we expect a new all-time high? How much time will we have in that all-time high territory? And where are we now? More importantly, where do we sit in this entire cycle as well? So the timing is the big thing here that I'm focusing on rather than the price. Last cycle, 2021, we had all sorts of calls about Bitcoin going to $300,000. Have a look at how stupid that is now on a linear scale, now that you can see back in that history. So we have to squeeze the chart up a lot just to get to the $300,000. There's 300K. This thing would have looked like absolute garbage trying to get all the way up there to $300,000 from a point of roughly $20,000, $30,000. I have no words for that apart from it's ridiculous. And we will get more ridiculous prices this cycle. We've already started hearing stuff like 500,000. We've hearing things like $750,000 from someone who I would love to interview on the channel here. So if you ever get to talk to him, Arthur Hayes, I'd love to do an interview there, but $750,000, and just shouting out there in case anyone has any direct contact. And also I was looking at $1 million as well. This is what the chart would look like. It would look like absolute nonsense, I think, to get to $1 million. We've also got Kathy Wood from ARK Invest talking about $1 million. I think she even had a target of $1.25 million. You can start to see how this is more than unlikely not going to happen, as it would look even worse than an altcoin chart that has just been sprung out onto the market and then shilled by Logan Paul. Like, it's just, I don't think it's going to happen. Anyway, back to what I think might happen in these markets. So time to all-time highs. In the past, we have seen a 38 and a 35-month time frame from the previous all-time high into breaking into that territory. Again, we had the $20,000 top, 35 months to breaking into all-time highs. The other thing to look at is from the low to the breakout point, just to see if they sort of measure up and they balance as well in time. Where you can see here was 24 months from the cycle low to the time that it touched a new all-time high price. You can see it took another few months until it really got a kick on to break those highs. And then in last cycle, we had 23 months until it touched a new all-time high, and it pretty much just took off from there. So there's I'm saying two here. There's two different all-time highs and two different scenarios. One that I think I would love to see, and the other I don't want to see. The reasons being, this one here is much nicer because it took its time, tested it, gathered up more supply on the market, and then we had a nice extended move to the upside of roughly I think that was 12 months. So we go from the all-time high to that first touch of a new all-time high, 11 months there. Next time around, it broke out and then just went straight up. And we know it hit $65,000 in April of 2021. And then it basically did not hit a really big price target above that for the duration of the bull market. So although it was Bitcoin leading the charge, the rest of that bull market was based on cryptos, NFTs, metaverse stuff, gaming, you name it, everything was pumping at that stage. And Bitcoin really didn't have any more of a move after the November 2020 play. And Ethereum was kind of similar in that respect as well. So time to the all-time high, we're looking at roughly 35 to 38 months, call it around about 3 years from the all-time high to the next all-time high. And then to balance out that time, we're looking at about 2 years from the low to a new fresh all-time high. And then we're looking at roughly 11, 12 months within the all-time high territory. So basically Bitcoin's broken out of the previous cycle's top and it's lasting about 12 months in that price, in that time target up there above the old all-time highs. So where does that leave us now? Well, let's start to measure these points. You can see that we are approximately 12 months into this. So 12 months into it from the low. Measure out 23 months, takes us to October 2024. And from the previous all-time high to that period of October as well is exactly 35 months. So that would be almost the same, or basically exactly the same as it was last cycle. But of course, I don't think anything's going to repeat exactly the same. The cycle before that was 38 months and then 24 months to break out from the low. So 24 months takes it to November of 2024, but 38 months takes the breakout or the testing all-time high time target to January of 2024, 2025. So think about that. This could possibly be all the way into Q4 of 2024, maybe even as late as Q1 of 2025 before Bitcoin hits a new all-time high. Is that guaranteed? Of course not. Could we hit a new all-time high before then? Yes. And those things, I think, are going to come down to the strength of this next play. We've got 42K as a line in the sand for Bitcoin to reach. We also have the monthly swing top here at $48,000. So how does Bitcoin react in this stage of the move is going to tell us whether we do make it to that point, take that time to hit the resistance levels, take some time out to digest the move, maybe remain up at these levels above $34,000, $35,000 and just digest between $34,000 and $48,000 for the next sort of 12 months before it's able to make that charge and just take out the all-time high. That's going to be the key play here, I think, to tell us the strength of this move. We don't want it to happen too quick. Something would have, like last cycle might occur if we break the new all-time high and just shoot straight up and then nothing else happens. And we don't want it to happen too slow. We don't want the market to get too bored and then start to fade out and break back down below significant levels, which leads us to these significant levels. So another bold prediction here. So we've looked at some of the timing here. The bold stuff for the downside, price targets. I don't think Bitcoin is going to break the March bottom. $20,000. I've been pretty firm with that ever since that came in. And now at 37, you'd say, well, of course it's not going to break $20,000. Yes, there's plenty of people who think it still will break $20,000, but I'll leave it up to them to decide that one. $20,000, I highly doubt it. Now, to throw my neck on the line just a little bit further, $25,000. You can see with this swing indicator here, it doesn't seem like $25,000 is going to be tested again. And in that case, I don't even think it'll be broken. So I don't think it'll be broken. I don't think it'll be tested. I think we've done the testing at that level. I think it's over. The market's ready to move on. And then if you wanted to throw your neck out even further, and this one I'm not as sure with yet because we have not seen the extent of this current move, is the 30 to 32,000. So I'm happy to put my neck on the line for these two levels here. That's 25 and that's 20, not going to be broken. And of course, if those aren't going to be broken, well, then there's no chance that 15 is going to be broken either. So you might as well just draw a line in the sand and say, call it 25,000, but I'm much more firm on the 20,000. So yeah, here we are, 25. And we want to go that extra mile, throw a bigger bet on the table here with the possibility of it maybe happening, depending on how this move lasts at the moment. Then you could possibly throw around $30,000 to $32,000 on there because that is the top of the previous move or the previous resistance levels before the market broke out of that zone. So they're the big bold predictions for Bitcoin. The reasons why, because you probably heard me talk about those price targets before. I've just gone through them and explained why that is the case. So hopefully you can use it, make it your own prediction or forecast, use it in your own analysis so that it becomes more, you get more confidence from it in yourself rather than just listening to some fool online. So that's where we currently sit. That's for BTC. We've got a price target to the downside. We have price targets to the upside. We have time targets to the upside as well, looking roughly at Q4 of 2024 for a new all-time high. And you probably, for the sake of it, I'll throw in my price target before the halving of $42,000. You've heard me talk about that many, many times before. Probably some videos this week and last week that you can go through there. Now, I've got Ethereum to get through as well. Just a reminder, the Gann Swing Indicator, 7-day free trial. Link is in the top of the video description. Of course, where else would it be? And Black Friday. It's about 36 hours to go there for Black Friday. Put your email address down here and you will get an email with the discount code there as well. The biggest sale, this will be going up. TI Premium will be going up. Here we are, the timing of ETH, top to top. Now you get the deal of how this is all working out. All-time high, the breakout point, all-time high, that is 36 months, 3 years, easy done. The cycle low to the breakout point here, the next all-time high for the cycle, roughly 25. So almost very, very similar to BTC. You could probably say it's exactly the same there. So we've only got one cycle to work on there. Where does that leave us here for ETH? Well, in this case, ETH bottomed before Bitcoin and put in a higher low. You might have remember seeing that from this chart here. Higher low means pretty solid strength. ETH did that. I think ETH is going to have a bigger run when it's ready, when the time comes, which is possibly the second half of 2024. And it's going to have bigger gains. I think most people understand that now, that you have a smaller market cap, you're going to get bigger gains on that if the asset is a strong asset. So you could go down the list and look at some of the crappiest stuff here, which have small gains, list of crap from 2017. They are not going to have as big of a run. And potentially even crap from 2021 is not going to have as big of a run as the strong cryptos. And in this case, ETH is definitely a strong cryptocurrency. To the upside in time, 29 months would lead us to this period here of the second half or the Q4 of 2024. 36 months from the all-time high leads us to that point there, roughly November of 2024. That, I think, is going to be a big period where the media and the mania and the retail gets in saying, well, the market's up, it's got to keep going up. And at that stage, you really don't have that much time left. So looking at the all-time high to that breakout point, you've got 10 months here for ETH. And for Bitcoin, it was 11 months on that first move. So the 2017, that cycle was around 11 months. And then for the 2021 move, you had 12 months in that all-time high territory. So where are we now? Well, we're 12 months in, about halfway through this accumulation period, halfway through the accumulation, which means the next 12 months, we're probably going to keep climbing up to that new all-time high. If we get a nice big move up to these levels here and it's a sustained higher lows, higher highs, it might be unlikely to expect a very significant pullback of anything more than what we've currently seen. We've seen roughly 22-ish% on the pullbacks. So we have to see how the market moves. If it moves up in big bars, then we will have to come back and retest those levels. That's only normal. But if we keep moving up in these pretty sustained higher highs, higher lows, retesting a lot of levels along the way, then I think it's going to be unlikely that the market is going to have these big significant pullbacks where everyone's expecting it has to go back down 40% because it's done it in the past. So just keep that one in mind as well. Now, the other cycle I just wanted to quickly have a look at for BTC was the 2013 cycle. You have an all-time high here in 2011 and then the breakout and then another chance, so which really was only 1 month above that old all-time high. But if we measure it back to this level here, so that price, you're looking at roughly 9 months in new all-time high territory as well. Could this happen again? I mean, we would all love that style of move to happen for BTC, breaking out of the all-time high, having a huge move, a huge correction, and then another mega monster move after that. That would be the dream bull market. Massive move up, nice big correction and consolidation, then another solid move up. So I'm hoping for a 2013. I think a 2017 is more likely. And I would not like to see a 2021. So that's for BTC. As for ETH, we're looking at roughly Q4 of 2024 for a breakout into a new all-time high price. And once that happens, it leaves us with about 10, 11 months left in that bull market before things turn down. Do note that the feeling is going to continue on for months after that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably 3 to 6 months after the peak comes in. People will still think it is a bull market. Everyone still thought this was a bull market then. And it's hard to say until you actually get the breakdown as well. You see the breakdown underneath these levels when May happened. So it's hard to say at that point, but just be aware that we're probably running into a peak somewhere 9 to 12 months after the market's breakout of into a new all-time high price. Now, I didn't even get a chance to get into the S&P 500 and how it has hit new all-time highs when Bitcoin's had new all-time highs. So of course, stick around on the channel, like the content, go down to the pinned comment and answer the question of the day there. And of course, the Black Friday sale, you won't hear about this next week. So bear with me on this one, subscribe, and the indicators are 7-day free trials. Links in the top of the video description. I'll see you guys at the next video. Have a fantastic weekend, Black Friday. Let us know what you're buying on the weekends, and I'll see you at the next one. Till then, peace out.